Thursday night football. The Las Vegas Raiders travel to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. Today I got my favorite player prop, spread pick, same game parlay coming your guys' way. Yo, what's going on? My name is Austin from Calling Our Shot. Now, before I dive into Thursday night's picks, I do want to talk about a recap of last week's picks. It feels like we cannot catch a groove in the NFL. We have one good week, one bad week, one good week, and then last week was a bad week. 3-2 on game picks, our spreads and over-unders, and 1-4 on player props. Hopefully week 14 is kind to us. Look, we've just not been able to get into a groove and get hot in the NFL, but we still got a couple more weeks left in the regular season. I'm hopeful that we start a hot streak in week 14. Let's get back and let's start it with a great winning Thursday night. Now, I have mentioned this a couple times before, but PrizePicks currently has a free square live. It's for Justin Herbert, the Chargers quarterback, to throw for just one passing yard on Sunday. I know Justin Herbert hasn't had the greatest year, and the Chargers haven't, but he's going to throw for at least one passing yard. So take advantage of that. Add it to any of your parlays. Also, and you already got one leg down. Also, if you sign up using our code COS or the link in the description, you get a 100% deposit match. So make sure you use that. If you deposit using our code, you deposit $50, you'll have $100 to play with. You deposit $100, you'll have $200 to play with. The match is up to $100. So take advantage of the free square, the free money with the deposit match. But without further ado, let's dive into my favorite player prop for this game. And I'm going with the Los Angeles Rams wide receiver, Jefferson, taking his over 36.5 receiving yards, minus 111 on Caesars. Now, I'd probably play this up to 39.5. And if you look at Jefferson's stats on the season, you might be like, yeah, that's not great. I think he only has like 11 receptions on the year, but he really didn't start playing until week 8. And even then he was eased into action. And over the last 3 weeks, they've been throwing him out there a ton, 73%, 87%. And then he played 100% of the snaps last week. Now, they don't have Cooper Kupp, they don't have Allen Robinson, and Ben Skoranek, their next kind of guy up, he's injured as well. Now, he should probably play, but he could be limited, and that's why we're seeing Jefferson play, 85, 90, 100% of the snaps. And over the last 3 weeks, we've seen him kind of turn into some decent games, 41, 29, and 39 receiving yards. Now, he's had some tougher matchups in there, but he still hit the over in 2 of these 3 games. But the promising sign is his air yards. Now, air yardage does not necessarily equal receiving yards. It definitely is far from that. But over the last 3 games, we've seen him have 65, 74, and 81 air yards. Now, an air yard is them like throwing a 50-yard bomb to him. If he doesn't catch it, it still counts for 50 air yards. But he's at least seeing the opportunity. And all it takes is Jefferson to catch one pass, and he can hit this over. Jefferson is a big play guy. He's had multiple 70-yard touchdowns in his career, and I don't know what the QB situation will look like for the Rams on Thursday night. Could it be John Wolford out there? Bryce Perkins? Could it be Baker Mayfield, who they just claimed? Potentially, but this is a good matchup for them as the Raiders allow the 3rd most passing yards per game in the NFL, the 3rd most passing yards per attempt. Now, you look at the last couple games, Jefferson's still seeing a good amount of targets, 5, 7, and 4 targets over the last 3 weeks. That might not seem like a lot, but that's a 21% target share on this team, and they really have not been able to get anything going in the pass game. So if they even get anything going, I think Jefferson's going to be the ultimate beneficiary of that. And the Raiders, like I said, their secondary hasn't been that great this year. Over the last 5 games, in fact, they've allowed at least 2 wide receivers of the opposing team to hit this over, and 12 total wide receivers. There are a couple weeks in there where they allowed 3 or more wide receivers to get it done. Look, it's a favorable matchup. Jefferson, a big play guy. I think his receptions line will probably be 2.5, 3.5. I think he has a good chance of hitting that, but I'd rather take his over in receiving yards. It's a guy that can get this done with just one play. He obviously has a decent connection with whoever the QB is out there, and he's going to be playing 100% of the snaps. If the Rams do fall behind, Jefferson will be out there, and they'll be throwing it a little bit more. Give me Jefferson's over in receiving yards as my player prop for this game. Now, let's run into my game pick. And this might not be a popular one, but I'm taking the Los Angeles Rams plus 6.5, minus 120 on FanDuel. Now, this was 6 plus 6 on a couple different books. I anticipated ending at plus 6.5. That's where sharper books rely on, but if you want to take the plus 6, go for it. Now, I think people are going to look at this game and say, the Raiders are going to blow them out. Common sense. That's what people are going to see. They look at the Raiders, a team that's quietly turning it around. Won 3 straight games by 6, 6, and 7 points. So they didn't cover this 6.5 line in 2 of those games, but this is a Rams team that people are obviously fading. They've lost 6 in a row, and I can't blame them. But the common sense for the square people out there, they're going to load up their sportsbook and see the Raiders playing well. Rams stink. It's going to hammer the Raiders on the spread. Throw Raiders money line in every single parlay I have. Betting the NFL, it rarely goes the way the common sense people think. Like, we look at this weekend, we have the Vikings underdogs against the Detroit Lions. We see it time and time again where they put up these trap spreads. And I'm not saying this is a trap spread to take the Raiders, but I think it's the perfect sell high game for this Raiders team. Sure, they looked good over the last couple weeks. Haven't faced the stiffest of competition. This is a Rams team that, well, they got to start fighting at some point. This is the Rams team that did lose only by 4 points last week to a very good Seahawks team, and they arguably probably could have won that game outright. And that was a game that they got nothing going on the passing game. They had John Wolford out there completing 14 of 26 passes, just over 50%, 178 passing yards, and 2 interceptions. He didn't even throw a touchdown. And they had a Cam Akers out there rushing 17 carries for like 61 yards. They had nothing going. They're going to be without Aaron Donald. There's so many different reasons why I think people are just going to bet the Raiders, but I think this is a Rams team that they're going to play well. I just think they will in a Thursday night game in primetime. I think they're going to play pretty well. This is the Rams team that obviously still is talented. They don't have Aaron Donald, but Jalen Ramsey will go out there and probably try his best against Devontae Adams. So obviously he's the Raiders' #1 guy on offense. And they're obviously still got Bobby Wagner. They still have a bunch of other talented guys. And I think Sean McVay is good enough to get this passing game going, whether it's with John Walford, if he's even active, or if it's with Baker Mayfield. I don't really care how it gets done. I think the Rams have a good chance at +6.5. Wouldn't surprise me at all if they win this outright. The Raiders are not a team that people can trust. 3 weeks ago, people have been fading the Raiders like it's going out of style. Now people are starting to tail them. I think that's when they hurt them good. So give me the Rams plus the 6.5 points. It probably won't be popular. You don't have to tail it, but I'll be riding with the Rams. Now it's time for same game parlay, and this is the worst part of the video because we've been getting wronged. If you went back to Monday Night Football, we had 3 of our 5 legs easily hit. The only one that didn't was Mike Evans over in receiving yards, and we had Mike Evans anytime touchdown. If you watched the game, Mike Evans had a 50-yard touchdown where he would have caught the ball, but the Saints held on to him. It was defensive pass interference. Obviously, the Bucs get the ball on like the 5-yard line. He does not get the touchdown. That's been about the story of our same game parlays over the last like 4 or 5 weeks, but we're going to dive back in. We're going to forgive and forget, and we're going to get into this one. We got 4 legs. 2 of them are safe. 2 of them are a little risky. Devontae Adams, 50-plus receiving yards. Josh Jacobs, 50-plus rushing yards. Like, those guys' lines are like 40 yards above that. I think both those can get it done. Van Jefferson, 50-plus receiving yards. I've already talked about him enough. I think he can get that done. The last one, Cam Akers, 50-plus rushing yards. Now, Cam Akers is the guy that I think he either cruises over this line or he doesn't get even close to it. Now, last week, like I said, they gave him 17 carries for 61 yards. So he hit the over. The Raiders don't have necessarily the best rushing defense or the worst. But can he do it again? Will they give him the same workload? I don't know. We don't really know what this Rams team is going to do. They're looking for a spark in the backfield and on offense, really just in general. So could we see a guy like Kyron Williams come out there and get a lot of touches? Potentially. That's why I'm not making Cam Akers my regular player prop. But if he does get the carries, he should be able to get that done. They should be at least in this game. I don't see them getting blown out at home. So Cam Akers is talented enough. We've seen it in the past. He's flashed talent. All he has to do is put it together. Should he see, his rushing attempts line sitting at 12.5, 13.5. So they're expecting to get some carries. If he sees 10 carries, he could turn it into 50 rushing yards. That's not crazy to ask. It's a little bit of plus value on FanDuel. It's plus 690 on FanDuel for the 4 legs. So we're gonna take a dart throw at it. What's the worst that could happen? We lose on 1 leg. Well, I'm used to that. We consistently lose by 1 leg. So that's music to my ears. That's what I always lose by. But of course, I appreciate you guys as always for tuning in. Reminder about that PrizePicks free square. Go sign up for PrizePicks using our code COS or the link in the description. Not only do you get that free square, you get a 100% deposit match. You just deposit $10, you get $20. Like I said, 100% deposit match. Take advantage of it. I appreciate you guys all for using the code. I know how many people use it. We appreciate it. So thank you again. All other Sportsbook sign-up bonuses are down below in the description. I'll probably have our parlays and player props video on Saturday again. And then we'll have our Friday NFL spread picks will probably be posted on Friday. Those picks will be for Sunday. But appreciate you guys as always. I'm Austin. Hopefully I'm a little bit more healthy than future videos. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.